Good morning, class. We will not be teaching mathematics to you, as it has been denounced as white supremacy, of course. Numbers, equations, all vilest racism. I would ask you to read your only textbook, White Fragility, but since we denounced reading as white supremacy, you're all illiterate. So, I don't know, I guess, start fighting each other. Hey, welcome in. Well, brace yourself for the feeling that you're losing your mind. Sit down, just sit down somewhere. Make sure there's nothing heavy near you that you could pick up and throw at something. Here's the headline. Oregon promotes program focused on dismantling racism in mathematics. Says finding the right answer, a sign of white supremacy. So I guess, is that the last thing that they had to call white supremacy? Is that it now? So literally everything is white supremacy now? So math is white supremacy? The right answer is white supremacy? 2 plus 2 equals 4 is white supremacy? You know, I use references from 1984 all the time because it just seems so relevant. And many people have used the example of 2 plus 2 equals 5, right? Well, here we have it. I think they literally took 1984 and are just using it as a handbook. Not as a warning. They don't see it as a warning. They see this actually as a good future. I'm talking about the modern left. And I'm not talking about, classical liberals or traditional liberals, anything like that. I'm talking about this modern left, this modern far left, which seems to have taken over every institution. Anyway, it's mind-boggling. It's surreal. What does it say here? It says the Oregon Department of Education is promoting a program for teachers that seeks to dismantle racism in mathematics, alleging that focusing on finding the right answer is a symbol of white supremacy. This is living, breathing satire. It wouldn't even work as satire because it's just too absurd, only here you have it in real life. It makes me wonder, say there was a powerful country and it had adversaries elsewhere in the world, and they wanted to try and destroy this powerful country, and they wanted to do it from within by poisoning the culture and turning everybody into an idiot, essentially, that can't count, that won't be able to count because they think it's racist if you count correctly. This is what it would look like, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it look like this? Anyway, just saying. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. Fox News reported that the ODE sent out a newsletter last week that mentions a Pathway to Math Equity microcourse. That will occur on February 21st. The course, according to Fox, is designed for middle school teachers to make use of a toolkit for dismantling racism in mathematics. So it doesn't sound like they have to teach this. It's hard to imagine even, liberal or left-leaning teachers taking this seriously. It's just too ridiculous. But you know that actually there's going to be lots of them that take it very seriously. Can't wait to prevent children from learning math properly. Anyway, it says the newsletter encourages teachers to sign up for the training, which the New York Post previously reported includes a section with 14 things associated with, here we go again, white supremacy culture, including perfectionism, objectivity, and individualism. This is so insanely insulting. It's truly astonishing. These are the things that build civilization, that build strong economies, that fuel progress in technology and everything. I think it would be very surprising to a lot of people, say in like India and Japan and China, to discover that they're being white supremacists. I guess we should tell them, conscientiousness, that's white supremacy right there. You're being a white supremacist. Stop. Let's see. Objectivity is described in the workbook accompanying the training as the belief that there is such a thing as being objective or neutral. See, it's ideology. It's the woke cult. It can't stand any interrogation whatsoever because all of the weird contradictions and paradoxes within it are immediately obvious as soon as you start looking at it objectively. So they don't want people to think objectively. They don't want people to be neutral. You have to be a part of the cult. You have to accept everything they say, even if those things change from day to day or minute to minute. It doesn't matter. You know, this minute the mob thinks this, so you better think it as well. It's basically an attack on critical thinking. That's what critical theory is. It's an attack on critical thinking. Anyway, there's no way this could go wrong. Let's see. The program's toolkit also encourages teachers not to focus on a single correct answer, but to come up with at least 2 answers that might solve this problem. And to challenge standardized test questions by getting the right answer, but justify other answers by unpacking the assumptions that are made in the problem. And here we have our 2 + 2 = 5. Absolute insanity. I mean, essentially what it seems like they're saying here is just for students who can't get the right answers, just pretend that they're correct. Just make excuses for it not being the quote-unquote right answer and then justify the wrong answer, which will not help anybody. That will not help any students. In fact, it's just grossly irresponsible and unethical. I mean, that should be obvious, shouldn't it? Let's see. It also asks instructors to center ethno-mathematics in multiple ways, one of which is to identify and challenge the ways that math is used to uphold capitalist, imperialist, and racist views. Yeah, so this has nothing to do with math. Ethno-mathematics doesn't exist. That's not real. Okay? Engineers building a plane in Delhi, or if they're in Japan, or if they're in Beijing, or if they're in Seattle, they all use the same mathematics. They have to, because the planes have to be able to fly and land, right? There is no such thing as ethno-mathematics. That's just a fantasy. It's insane. But here we have it. I mean, capitalist, imperialist, and racist views. Again, none of this has anything to do with mathematics, but they have to try and get it into everything. Nothing can be free of it. There can be no dissent from their views. Everything has to be politicized. The personal is political. This is what they say. I mean, will this be used? Even if it's not, how did they get so far with it? How did they get it to this position in the first place? I mean, at what point will people stop voting for that? Let's see. The toolkit includes a list of the ways a white supremacist culture allegedly infiltrates math classrooms. Insanity. These include the focus on getting the right answer and students being required to show their work. So nobody learns anything. Nobody's going to learn anything. Are they doing this with reading and writing as well? Are we just going to end up with a bunch of people who can't count? They're illiterate, totally useless. I think that may be what the radical left wants. Easier to control, I guess. And this is all over the Western world, too. Parents have to start pressuring schools and politicians and doing something because this stuff is insanity. You do not want your child to be a victim of this bizarre cult. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for stopping in. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast, Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.